Remington here, Hub City Home Inspection. Today we're going to discuss walls, doors, and windows. Again, this is intended for realtors, and it's kind of the way that I do my inspections to give you an idea what to expect and kind of how to walk through with your clients what to expect from home inspections. As always, you can call, ask questions, okay? So starting with walls, we've kind of talked about it briefly when we talked about foundations and drainage and things like that. But when we're in the inside of the house and we are discussing walls, windows, and doors, I'm walking around the house, checking for gaps, maybe around windows, around doors, cracks, kind of the common cracks that we see as we discussed earlier, talking about foundations, and then some that may be a little more alarming. Hey, we saw a crack on the exterior wall. Do we have one that correlates on the inside? Our brick wall on the outside, in theory, can just fall off of the house and your structure be 100% just fine. The brick wall is tied on with what they call a brick tie, and it's a metal bracket, and they bend them like an L. They tack it onto the wall and they stick it between the mortar here, and those things will, as houses move, those move, and they're just a thin piece of metal. So over years and years, this thing may just break, or maybe they didn't put on as many as they should have, right? But if that falls or gets loose, or just anything, any sign of that brick wall maybe having issues, it does not mean our framing of our home is having issues. And so we can get a nice big crack on a brick wall, and the wall on the inside adjacent to it has no sign of movement at all. And when we see a crack on the exterior and a crack on the interior in the same area, it's usually a sign of more sign of a concern. Hey, we really need to pay attention here. Let's keep looking around. The windows, do they go up and down fairly easy for the age and type of window? Or do we have, maybe we see a crack and then we see a window that doesn't open well? Hey, this is not square anymore. We're gotten off kilter here, and maybe that's a sign of movement of the home. We look at doors. How square are doors? And doors are very often not square, and that's just due to the fact of the people putting them in and because of minor movement in homes. Okay, are they hitting? Do they rub the frame? Do they not latch properly? These are notes you'll see. Hey, southeast bedroom door hitting or rubbing the frame. Needs some adjustments. Even if we do have foundation movement, that door still needs adjusted. Unless you are going to have foundation work done, you'd have foundation work done, then adjust the door accordingly. But usually it's, hey, we have a loose hinge. Hey, you need to tighten these fasteners a little bit more in the hinges and pull that door in. The top hinge, if it gets tightened a little bit, it'll tip that door up slightly. Usually these are just minimal movements that are needed, and so it doesn't take a whole lot to adjust these, and it depends on the handyman or carpenter that put them in. And then as far as they don't latch properly, you push the door shut and it should grasp, obviously, its catch, but then you pull it and it just opens right up. You don't have to turn the knob or the handle anymore. Minor adjustments needed again. It's not bad enough to where it's hitting or rubbing the frame, but it is bad enough to where, hey, we need some adjustment. And that may be an adjustment in the striker plate or the striker itself. And so those are notes that we'll make just so you're aware, hey, when I shut this door, it doesn't actually stay shut or it doesn't catch. And then with the windows, we're looking at, back on doors, we're looking at all of our entry doors, front door, rear entry door. Look underneath on the sides. Do we see daylight coming in? If there's daylight coming in, it's considered an inefficiency. It's noted in blue as a maintenance item, and it's just, hey, you need some weather stripping, need maybe some adjustments on the door possibly, but it's letting air in, which means it's going to let our dirt in. The same note on a garage entry door is going to be considered a safety hazard. Hey, I can see daylight under the garage door or to the side on one side of the garage door. That's the same fix. The reason it's a safety hazard is because our garage is more likely to have a fire, to have fumes, to have things like that. We have our vehicles, we have carbon monoxide, and so we want that door sealed up very well. There are stories and instances you can read about, worst case scenarios of carbon monoxide being able to seep into the home. And so that door, while it's the same issue, is a bigger concern. So we don't like that red to scare people when it shows on the report. Sometimes it does. It's not meant to. Unfortunately, my software does not let me change that color right now. But it's still usually an easy fix. It's just that one's more important than fixing the front door. With windows, we're looking at, hey, remember we inspect these for 2026. So older homes, the windows usually don't meet egress, meaning they're not, when you open it all the way up, the opening is not large enough to meet modern standards for what they say we need to be able to get out in case of a fire, or a first responder get in case of a fire. And it's very common. It'll be in red because it is a bedroom and it is considered a safety hazard. We're looking at windowsill height. Hey, is the windowsill too high? We have standards for that. I believe number's 44 inches. Is it above that? Then it's considered too high for modern standards. Hey, is the glass, how low is our window or piece of glass? Is it within 18 inches of the floor? Okay, it is. Is it 9 square feet or bigger sheet of glass? And is it within 36 inches of a walkway? If it meets all those things, well, it needs to be tempered glass. And some really old homes that have these big picture windows will not have tempered glass in those areas. Is it a window over a bathtub or at a shower? Within 5 square feet of that needs to be tempered glass. So we're looking for these safety ratings on the windows. And in older houses, we're just not going to see that sometimes. So do the windows open and close properly? A bedroom window should open and hold itself open. If it falls, hey, the balancers, the adjustments, balancers in there need adjustments or need replaced maybe. And sometimes obviously windows are just worn out, but that's considered a safety hazard also for the sake of, hey, I'm trying to get out of my bedroom window in the instance of an emergency and it keeps falling down on me. It won't stay up. And so obviously that's considered a safety issue. Bedrooms, to be considered a bedroom, it has to have a means of egress directly outside. Like not to a courtyard where there's nowhere else to go, but like to the front of the house or the back of the house where you can step away from the home in the instance of a fire. So just recently inspected a house. They were selling it as a 4-bedroom home. It had 2 bedrooms in it that had no windows. One room was in the center of the home, excuse me, and so it could not have had an egress to the exterior no matter what they did. The other one, they just didn't have a window in it. And so in theory, that 4-bedroom house is really a 2-bedroom house. And so we have to have an egress, and it can be a patio door, anything that gets you to the front or the back of the home outside. Those are means of egress. It does not have to be a window. It can be a door. And so we look at all these things as we move through the house: shower surrounds, looking for cracks, looking at our walls around our vanities. Are they sealed up? All those types of things. We want to make sure that wherever there's water, it cannot get behind the cabinet, but it has to come out to the front. So we're checking our walls for caulking and sealants and things of that nature. That's somewhere, windows is somewhere we almost always see deficiencies in one way or another. They don't quite latch right. The latch is damaged. We're missing hardware. In a bedroom, or if we're missing hardware that doesn't let it latch properly, it's considered a safety hazard because somebody in theory could maybe just come open your window. So while maybe not a difficult fix, it is something that does need fixed and does show up as a safety hazard. So going over walls, doors, and windows, very important, gives us lots of good information. And depending on the type of loan someone is getting, they're going to need to know some of that information, and that's going to have to be fixed.